Hello my friends, as for the military map, there is no update for the time that I'm recording this video, so the situation stays the same, but from the official information, our commanders tell that we've took more ground, around 2 square kilometers. The important thing for Ukraine is to continue the assault, especially over here near to Berhivka, because if we look at the topographic, there is the important elevation in that area, and from that we can spot what is happening inside the Bakhmut city, as in a playground from the window. Also today there were reports that our guys went close to Klishivka. I got those from the Russian channels, but still without the update of this military map I cannot say how close we are from that small village, but this village is also very important because there is also some elevation in this place that creates the natural obstacle in this area. If we go across it, we may try to encircle the Bakhmut city. So 2 important elevations, one is here and one is over here, and then we can go to Yahidne. This is not the very high elevation in this area, and if we take Klishivka, obviously we'll go to the lower ground to the Bakhmut city. As usual, you have railways and roads on high ground and villages and towns on a low ground. And Prigozhin was very mad about the case since he got the orders to take the villages and the towns, not the high elevation. That is why Ukrainian side always got some sort of the priority in that. But finally, before they moved forward, and basically they've took the elevation over here, and now it's our turn to fight back. The big question stays with Kurdimivka. From some of the resources I got the information that we moved towards that village, but from this military map, at least from the latest update, I don't see it. So for the last 5 days you can see that Ukraine already did the great job liberating this area, but Bakhmut is far to be encircled by Ukrainian forces, and still unfortunately Wagner's got the success in moving to this district. But as Prigozhin says, it doesn't matter if their soldiers would be encircled in case of the successful Ukrainian counterattack. Again, it's not the big counterattack. We use it, as officials say, the opening door to enter the full-scale maneuver that will happen, I believe, very soon. And in Avdiivka we have some sort of the success of Ukrainian army. We moved over here, so if we go to the timeline, it was like here yesterday, and today we've took the part of this lake. So yesterday and today, which is also great. And now let's go to the latest news and events. And here we have the other map from the alternate resource. As you can see, Russia still continued to push near to Klishivka. Also, they push in the city itself, but Ukraine started a counterattack, and so far we were very successful with that, knowing the limited forces that we use, and because of the Russian army started to run at first 3 up to 4 days, we were able to liberate those areas. But also, according to the Russian information, they are sending more reinforcements to that area, including the elite forces, to stop the Ukrainian offensive near to the Bakhmut. However, I have doubts that the Russian forces would be able to change the situation for Wagner and for themselves, because the front lines have already been broken by Ukrainian army, and we understand that we move forward day by day. So in general, I'm quite positive about this operation. This is the epic article from the Washington Post. I already knew about it yesterday. Well, Wagner's chief Prigozhin offered to give up the Russian positions, to give the locations to the Ukrainian army as exchange for Ukrainian army to leave the Bakhmut city. Knowing the conflict between the Russian regular army and the Wagner group, it could be real. This article is partially based on President Zelensky's interview and also on the leaked documents. President Zelensky didn't say no about the case, and he asked journalists where they got the information from, because this is the classified information, and I may confirm that there are some talks between Wagner and Ukraine, because there is no any other way how you would exchange the prisoners of war. You need to talk first. And we know that Wagner's and the Ukrainian side exchanged the prisoners of war, so there is partially true about the communication. But about that Prigozhin wanted to give up the Russian positions, yes, it could be true, but I'm not really sure. Prigozhin dismissed those accusations, turning it into some sort of the joke. This also could be the way to get rid of Prigozhin as the main successful force from the Russian side. You see, for Ukraine, it's kind of the nice stuff that Russia has the corrupt officials in military like Shoigu and Gerasimov. And I guess that Ukrainian army has the agents inside the management of the Russian army. Maybe not even Ukraine, but our allies for sure, and they work with Ukrainian intelligence. So their idea could be to show Prigozhin as the traitor of Russia itself, and in that case he could be persecuted by the Russian system. And I would highly suggest for Prigozhin to stay on the front lines, because it's more safe for him nowadays to stay over there rather than behind somewhere in Moscow. Anyways, for Ukraine, this is the win-win scenario. In any case, we're gonna have the profit. If Prigozhin is gone, it's good for us, and also it's profitable for us if this conflict between Prigozhin and Shoigu continues for more time, with the long-term circumstances for the Russian Federation itself. One of the Russian elite generals, who is also presented in their parliament, said that Wagner is illegal organization, and also he said that if the Russian regular army soldiers want to go and join Wagner, because there are lots of calls for that, they will go to prison for 15 years. And actually there were many videos recorded by the Russian regular army soldiers who want to join the Wagner army because they don't have enough supplies from the regular Russian army command, but Wagners also do not have enough supplies. That's the biggest problem for the Russian army nowadays. I told you half a year ago that Russia had the lack in ammunition, and there were some of the bloggers, my colleagues, saying that it's impossible. Russia had the storages from the Soviet Union, but no. Russia participated in many of the conflicts where they already used the ammunition for artillery and for the tanks. Plus, they sold the vast part of the Soviet ammunition to the third countries. This scheme was perfect for the Russian corruption elite. They sell the unknown number of the shells, and then some of the forest fires destroy their storages. So no one knows what and in what quantity was sold. So Russia started this war with one figure in the papers and the total different reality. Putin created this strange corrupt system, but no one knew why he decided to test his army, and the army mostly was on the paper. And that is why Russia will meet the future Ukrainian counterattack with lack of the resources for defense. Prigozhin has already replied to this military official from Russia, calling him the guy without the brains, saying that he got the tongue without the bones, so he's talkative too much. And Prigozhin calls to persecute this guy because he supports the anti-Russian position, he says. So as you can see, there is the conflict between the pro-Russian forces inside Russia, and if there are gonna be riots, they will be done by Turbo Z patriots. Russia analyzed the debris of the rocket they were able to find in Luhansk, and they say that it is the Storm Shadow rocket. As you can see, this part is made in France, and really Storm Shadow is the joint development from French and from British. Here you can clearly see the liquid fuel kerosene sign. It means that it was the cruise missile, because cruise missiles, they do use the jet engines similar to the airplane engines. And they found many of the other debris. Well, I may partially confirm that it could be the Storm Shadow rocket or any kind of the cruise missile. Again, for the Storm Shadow we have the different information. Some say that the range is 250 kilometers, some say 290, and I got some of the resources claiming that the range is 560. What I was able to find is that the range of this rocket is close to the 600 kilometers. But it could be limited using the different software. For example, there was the supplyment of the Storm Shadow rockets to the Saudi Arabia, and they were limited for 290 kilometers. So I guess that potentially we have the range of 560 kilometers. But for this stage it's hard to tell because they were used on a short range distance. The self-proclaimed president of Belarus, Lukashenko, appeared on the public for the first time in 5 or even 6 days. He went to the local military branch, but you can see how he looks. I posted this picture on my Telegram, and one of the most liked comments is, "Oof, looks like a waxwork dummy." Indeed! By the way, my friends, you may go to the video description just below and you may follow me on Telegram. I always have it on my mobile device. Here you can see lots of the comments. You may react with lots of the emojis, and I use it for now as my main resource. I collect the information from other resources and also from different Telegram groups, and I put the most interesting news on my Telegram on a daily basis. So there are lots of the news today that I published, and about some I'm gonna speak in this video. But for the full picture and some of the videos that I cannot post on YouTube, please follow me on Telegram. This is the screenshot from the video, and I watched the full version, and he was like speaking with his voice and he barely moved. So indeed he is sick, and there are lots of the makeup on him. One more picture of his, he looks kind of not pale, but I would say pink with all of that makeup, and his hand is banded. This could be done to hide the needle that goes into the vein of his hand, and there could be the system, the drugs that are hidden behind his jacket. At least it's one of the theories. So what is interesting today about Lukashenko, that he confirmed that Russia lost 4 aircraft over their territory 2 days ago. It's the biggest loss in the Russian military over their territory in their airspace since the Second World War. But everything is great for Russia. Their TV channels are silent about it, as well as their military officials, as well as their president and politicians. No one cares. Remember what it was many years ago when Turkey shot down the Russian Sukhoi Su-24 airplane over their territory? Russians cut some of the trade deals with Turkey. Also, they cut the aviation connection between two countries. So definitely it was the big reaction. Here, no any news. Just in a local city, in Facebook probably, or maybe on Telegram, the local administration calls volunteers to search for the body of the pilot, and they call it right now after 2 days since the accident happened, and they need lots of the men because they say that the terrain is covered with the swamps in that area, so probably they will never find even the pilot. Alright, about the future counteroffensive, President Zelensky said that we need more time for preparations. He said that we may start the counteroffensive just right now, straight away, but in that case we'll have lots of the losses. So I guess that we're still waiting for some sort of the equipment or, I don't know, weaponry that may significantly reduce Ukrainian losses. President Zelensky went to France yesterday, and France agreed to send more of the IMX-10 RC tanks to Ukraine, as well as many other military equipment. After that he went to UK, and from Britain we'll have more long-range missiles like Storm Shadow and other systems, mostly air defense rockets. Plus, Britain will play a leading role in preparation of Ukrainian pilots. Macron today also said that France is ready to train Ukrainian pilots for the Western-made airplanes. Many say about F-16s, but I'm not sure about that, because United Kingdom doesn't have F-16s in their fleet. About the France, they have Rafales, Mirage, and I wonder if they have F-16s. Need to go to Wikipedia to check that out. But I guess there could be some of the training centers where our guys will have the new type rating on the F-16 even. As you see, this military offer consolidates many of the countries. Some provide Ukraine with the training, some with ammunition, and some in future with fighter jets. The Luhansk People's Republic chief of the police got exploded today in the barber shop. Unfortunately, some of the civilians were also injured, and this guy is now in a terrible condition because he got severe wounds. From some of the resources, we received the information that he is kaput, but some say that he is still alive. Tomorrow there will be the visit of the special Chinese representative Li Hui to Ukraine. Also, he will go to Poland, France, to Germany and Russia. Their goal, the Chinese goal, is to present their peaceful plan fully with particular steps to achieve. But knowing the President Zelensky, he will promote the Ukrainian peace plan that says that Russia should leave all of the Ukrainian territory and then we'll talk. And you know, watching the Russian reaction, then their aircraft were shut down, there's basically no reaction. It means that they do not want even to speak about it, not to escalate. It means that they want to end this war as soon as possible. But keeping their current achievements, and in some years, like 5 years, they may accumulate more resources and start one more big war in Ukraine. That's why we don't need that stuff. We need to get rid of Russia just right now. And China now plays in favor of Russia, but China also wants to finish this war as soon as possible, because they see if it continues for a very long time, like few years, Putin may not secure his power. And for China, it's crucial for Russia to be their not ally, but their puppet with the cheap resources. If there will be reformed and democratic Russia, it's the big hit for the Chinese autocracy. Italy has already sent the SAMP-T air defense systems to Ukraine. Awesome. Putin is in desperate searching for the new soldiers into his army. Today he signed a special order that guarantees the Russian citizenship for all of the foreigners who fight for Russia in the Russian army. So I would say that the Russian passport is not that powerful right now, and Russia is not the United States of America with developed economy, so why would you like to achieve their citizenship? This is just for fun. Russia started to use the special robots on the front lines with the caterpillars and some of the equipment. Maybe, yes, you can see the camera, and there could be some weaponry installed. And here's the Russian journalist testing the equipment. We may put on some sound. Oh, near miss. He could have buried under that stuff the small tank that weighs around 1 ton. So it's quite heavy, and they they called for the driver to stop, but he didn't hear the command, and that is what happened to the brand new Russian technology. Indeed, they were just centimeters away from being squashed by this stuff. There is the report from the Russian channels that Russia moved forward and they took Masutovka over here in this area, but we'll see with a map update tomorrow. There are lots of the misinformation coming from the Russian channels. The head judge of the High Court of Ukraine was arrested this evening for the huge bribe of $2.7 million. So here's just the part of the money that was found in his apartment. And the search have started in all of the judges' apartment of the High Court of Ukraine. The National Anti-Corruption Bureau is the only independent power independent from the government of Ukraine. And from what I see, it's the only branch that does something against Ukrainian corruption. One of the Ukrainian military pilots, Rostislav Lazarenko, did astonishing 300 flights per this war. It's the record. He flies the Sukhoi Su-25 attack airplane, and it's very dangerous to fly it very close to the front lines or at the front lines. Well, I just hope that he will be okay, because this war may continue for a lot of time and probably he'll have many more flights. Those pilots who had the military duty, war conflict flights understand how difficult it is compared to your usual training. My friends, I hope for the more positive news for tomorrow, and anyways, I'm gonna keep you updated on situation in Ukraine. And now please press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, there are some links in the video description just below. You might also support me on Patreon or on the sponsorship on this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your awesome help and your awesome support. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.